Go.
Hello.
Hi there.
So, welcome to Empowering Wellness at Home. We are doing a new series for you today based on the Four Agreements, which is a book by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's a book based on it's the Four Agreements, which is based on ancient um, principles that he got from, was it Mayan principles,
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia?
Yeah.
Yes, the ancient Mayan principles that uh, he researched, and it's a very simple, small book. I read it a few years ago, and it's definitely very popular, easy to find.
All over the world, millions and
All
millions of
yes,
copies.
and it's basically very simple laws of life, and it's spiritual, not necessarily religious. So it's just an idea of how to be happier in your life by following these four.
And it's like, you would think it's like common sense, but I feel like these days common sense is different for everyone. So for me to even say common sense sometimes is funny. But it's basic common sense living tools for, a civilized, group.
So we're just going to dive into the very first rule, which is be impeccable with your word. And this is in the book, it says this is the most difficult one. And it's one thing is with commitments that you make and things that you say you're going to do, but I also interpreted it as how you speak to yourself about others and about yourself, words that you use.
And I can use a perfect example. Sorry to interrupt, but
Sure.
we were just talking, and a perfect example is my mother always, a lot of the time, she chooses to use the word like my knee, and she says, my knee is killing me. And people like Bruce Lipton and many others have taught us over the years that those words literally happen, and they will happen. So we have to be very careful of the words that we choose. And so
Yes,
that is just
absolutely.
an easy example.
I had a text from I noticed I had a text from a friend, and I had said, "Oh no," and it was like something very minor. And then a few days later, she had said, "Oh no," and it was like almost like you're spreading out this, that word, the negative
Fear,
fear, so
scarcity.
scarcity. So it's just, it doesn't mean that we're all going to be perfect at this, but it just have this awareness, and emotional freedom technique or tapping definitely can help with that. Being impeccable with your word, being more positive, keeping commitments, and it doesn't have to be stressful, but just
It can be empowering.
mm-hmm.
It's empowering. Actually, all these things are empowering. They're empowering us to make us, teach us and educate us and make us or enable us to realize how much power we do have over our own, everything that happens to us physically
Absolutely.
and around us.
And one other thing that I learned recently about myself is when I was, for the longest time, I would, like, if something happened, I would always have to think of an excuse, like somehow I didn't want to share what was really going on. It felt like, if I hurt my elbow, I would say, like, oh, I'm going to have to say something different than I hurt my elbow. Which it sounds weird, but and it may just be from other traumas or other times, but sometimes just saying the truth of, like, even if it's something you feel uncomfortable about, oh, this is what happened, this is how I'm feeling today.
Well, I heard a perfect example. It's crazy that you just brought that up. The other day, I was listening to actually Tapping Summit, and one of the speakers was talking, and she was saying that that it's like when we've been so conditioned. So to say you and I were walking down the street and you tripped and you fell. What we're conditioned to do is just to jump up and say, "Oh, I'm all right."
Exactly.
And that's what we do with everything in our life, almost.
Exactly.
The majority of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're holding it in.
We're holding it in, and we're hiding and trying to be perfect or afraid of being vulnerable. But sometimes just sharing the truth, which is, it's so simple, but and honestly, sometimes when there are times in our lives, like say we, when we're kids and we have rules about where we're supposed to be, and then we fall or something happens, and we have to make up a story about why we fell. So it could be something like that, something very minor. That now as an adult, you're still like, why can't I have to make up a story instead of saying like, oh, I was walking down the street and I tripped.
Yeah.
And
we always feel like we're bothering people.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm just going to start doing the karate chop.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just start tapping. So even though there are times when it feels really scary to be impeccable with my word, I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to love and accept myself.
Even though there are times when I feel like I'm just not strong enough.
And I feel like I'm just not strong enough.
To make commitments.
To make commitments.
To be present.
To be present.
To be available emotionally.
To be available emotionally.
I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to love and accept myself.
And forgive myself.
And forgive myself.
It's so hard to be impeccable with my word.
It's so hard to be impeccable with my word.
It just feels like too much effort.
It just feels like too much effort.
I'd rather be able to say, oh no.
I'd rather be able to say, oh no.
Or it's killing me. My pain is killing me.
Or my pain is killing me.
I'd rather tell little white lies about things to cover up.
I'd rather tell little white lies about things to cover it up.
So I didn't have to explain how I really am feeling.
So I don't have to explain how I really am feeling.
I'd rather play it small and play it safe.
I'd rather play it small. I'd rather play it safe.
Because being impeccable also means showing up.
Because being impeccable always means showing up.
Being impeccable also means being powerful.
Being impeccable always also means being powerful.
And something about that is frightening to me.
And something about that is frightening to me.
And I choose to release that fear.
And I choose to release that fear.
How about I take ownership of my words?
How about I take ownership of my words?
I choose to take ownership of my words.
I choose to take ownership of my words.
I choose to take ownership of the power of my voice.
I choose to take ownership of the power of my voice.
I choose to take ownership of the power of my word.
I choose to take ownership of the power of my word.
And at those times when it feels really difficult to look for the right words to say.
And at those times when it's really difficult to find the right words to say,
I am open.
I am open
to being vulnerable in that moment.
To being open in that moment.
To being vulnerable.
To being vulnerable in that moment.
I don't have to pretend.
I don't have to pretend.
I'm willing to say, I don't know exactly what I want to say right now?
I'm willing to say, I don't know exactly what I want to say or know right now.
Can you help me?
Can you help me?
Maybe I'm open to being vulnerable.
Maybe I'm open to being vulnerable.
Maybe there's power in vulnerability.
Maybe there's power in vulnerability.
Maybe honesty and truthfulness and caring.
Maybe
It's so,
honesty and truthfully and caring.
it's so much more inviting
It's so much more inviting
and powerful
and powerful
and graceful
and graceful
and real.
and real.
So I'm going to be impeccable with my word.
So I'm going to be impeccable with my word.
I'm going to be honest and real.
I'm going to be honest and real.
And I'm going to ask for help.
And I'm going to ask for help.
Do you have anything to add, Cynthia?
No,
Yeah.
I feel good.
You feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a really intense tapping. I feel like it was a lot came up of, I felt a shift, and I also felt a lot coming up of just what it means to be real when we speak, just being real, you know,
Mm-hmm.
allowing ourselves to have power.
Yeah, it's a difference of thinking it, but then tapping on it and talking about it and thinking it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like a double dose or triple dose.
Triple whammy.
Yeah. What is it, a triple slam? I don't know.
Slam dunk? I don't know.
Not a slam dunk. Obviously, we don't know a lot about sports.
No sports metaphors here. Triple, I don't know, what's the one that's ice skating where they do the
Yeah,
triple?
obviously, that's not basketball. Anyways, no, I feel better though. I do feel
Yeah.
better.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for watching. And I'm sure you probably know much more and you can inform us about the sports metaphors.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channels and join us on Facebook at Empowering Wellness at Home. We have so much more planned. Have a wonderful day. And we're going to be doing all 4 of the agreements. So please watch this series. Thank
And
you.
in the meantime, just keep tapping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if anything else comes up, tap on that too.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.